of biology. So we were studying about human reproduction, chapter 3. So in the last video we have studied about the menstruation, the follicular phase, the ovulatory phase and the luteal phase of menstrual cycle. Okay, and we have already studied about the female reproductive system, the male reproductive system and the process of gametogenesis. So today we are going to study about the fertilization and the processes that takes place after the fertilization. During coitus or during the mating, okay, semen with millions of sperms are released into the female's body, and this process is called insemination. The act of what? The depositing the sperms into the female's body, that is known as insemination. And during insemination, many sperms will be released into the female's body, and this the sperms move through the cervix, enter into the uterus, and finally reaches to the junction of the isthmus and ampullary region of fallopian tube. And the sperms will get released from this. Okay, it reaches to the cervix, and from there it will go to the fallopian tube, and here you can see the junction of ampulla and isthmus in this region, and the ovum which is released from the ovary, that is the secondary oocyte. It will be collected by the movement of this fimbriae and will be directed towards this region, and it will meet here. That sperm and the egg will meet here, and if it meets here, then only fertilization takes place. And if fertilization takes place, then only it will lead to the pregnancy. Understood? So if the sperm and the egg meets simultaneously, or their release is in such a way that they can meet in the ampullary isthmus region, then fertilization occurs and it will lead to the pregnancy. And this is the reason all the coitus will not lead to pregnancy. The process of fusion of a sperm and the egg or ovum is known as what? Fertilization. So what happens during fertilization? The sperm will reach near to the ovum, okay, and many sperms will be surrounding the egg or the ovum, and only one will be able to enter into the zona pellucida of the ovum, and it penetrate with the help of the enzymes present in the acrosome of the sperm. We have studied the structure of sperm, and we have I have told you about acrosome. Acrosome contains what? Enzymes, and this enzymes will be released here, and it will help in the penetration of the zona pellucida, and it passes the plasma membrane and reaches to the cytoplasm of the egg or ovum. Understood? And the entry of this nucleus of the sperm will result in the triggering of the second meiotic division, or second meiotic division will get completed in the secondary oocyte. Okay, this is actually what? Secondary oocyte. And after the entry of the sperm nucleus, the secondary oocyte completes its second meiotic division. Okay, and then it will also produce two cells. Okay, one is the second polar body. We have already studied one polar body is produced after the completion of first meiotic division, isn't it? That is a small first polar body, and the secondary oocyte is formed. That secondary oocyte will complete its second meiotic division only after the entry of the sperm nucleus into the cytoplasm of the secondary oocyte. Understood? So earlier I told already, this process is a very, that is oogenesis is a very long process, and it will complete if it is getting what? Fertilized. Otherwise what will happen? As secondary oocyte, it will be ovulated and it will be get absorbed by the body itself. Okay, so in this way what happened? It completes the second meiotic division and the ovum will form. Okay, so you understood which are the places where the polar bodies are produced, and then this nucleus of the oocyte, okay, or ovum will fuse with the sperm's nucleus. Both are haploid, isn't it? Because they are produced by the meiosis. Now they fuse and form the zygote. Okay, so this you can see that after the entry of the first sperm, okay, many sperms will be surrounding the egg or secondary oocyte, but only one will get the chance to enter into the cytoplasm, and that will, after the entry of that, the zona pellucida of the secondary oocyte will become very hard. It will not allow any more sperm to enter into the cytoplasm. Understood? So in this way, it will allow only one sperm to fertilize the egg. Is it clear? So this is happening during the fertilization. We have studied the sex determination of a baby in class 10, isn't it? Because human males are having two sex chromosomes, that is X and Y, and females are having two X chromosomes. So all the female ova will have only X chromosome, and the male gametes, that is sperms, can have either X or Y. So 50% of sperms can have what, X chromosome, and the other 50% can have Y chromosome. Understood? So if a sperm with X chromosomes fuses an egg, that will lead to the a female child, that will lead to the birth of a female child. And the other one, if the sperm is having Y chromosome and if it is fusing with the egg, then the zygote will have XX chromosome, and that will be a female baby. Understood? So this we have studied already. Okay. After the zygote formation, the mitotic division starts in the zygote, in the isthmus region itself, as it moves down from the isthmus region of the fallopian tube towards the uterus. Okay, and this mitotic divisions are known as cleavage. What is it? Cleavage. So what is cleavage? The mitotic divisions that takes place in the zygote as it moves down, okay, or the mitotic divisions that take place in the zygote is called what? Cleavage. Okay, so one zygote is a single cell, isn't it? And it will divide into two cells will divide into 4 to 8, likewise 16 daughter cells are formed, and these are known as blastomeres. Okay, and the embryo with 8 to 16 cells are known as morula. Okay, so morula is what? As what each of these cells are known as blastomeres, and when the zygote is divided to form 8 to 16 cells, that condition is known as, or that is known as, that stage is known as morula. Okay, morula. And then what happens? Morula again they continues to divide and forms what? Blastocyst. Okay, and it moves further into the uterus. And this blastomeres are what? The cells, okay, in the blastocyst will get arranged in the form of a outer layer and an inner cell mass, outer layer of trophoblast, and an inner layer of what it forms, cell mass, inner cell mass. And this outer layer of cells, okay, with a cavity, this cavity is known as blastocele. Okay, and you can see here cells will be arranged in this region, and this is known as inner cell mass. And this inner cell mass will get divided to form, or they will form the embryo, and the trophoblast, which is the outer layer, okay, that will get embedded in the endometrium and the inner and the endometrium. Okay, so what happens? The trophoblast. So once again I will tell you, that is zygote will get continuously divided by a process called cleavage. Okay, mitotic divisions 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 8, 16, likewise it will continuously divide. And when it is 8 to 16, and each of this is known as what? Blastomeres. And when the number of blastomeres is between 8 to 16, that stage is known as morula. Morula again continuously divide. Okay, means 16 cells will become 32. Like it's it will continue to divide, and this will transform into what? Blastocyst. And later on, what happens? This blastocyst, okay, they get the cells in the blastocyst, that is blastomeres in the blastocyst, will get arranged in the form of an outer layer called trophoblast and an inner group of cells attached to trophoblast. That group of cells are known as inner cell mass. Okay, trophoblast and inner cell mass. So what is the function of trophoblast? That get attached to the endometrium. Okay, that is the function of that trophoblast is, that is the part which is helping the blastocyst to get or attached to the wall of the uterus, that is in which wall it will get attached to the endometrium. Understood? And inner mass cells, that is getting developed into the embryo. Understood? Then as the blastocyst get embedded in the endometrium or get attached to the endometrium, the uterine cells means the cells in the uterus also divides and it covers this blastocyst. Okay, so this results in the embedding of the blastocyst into the endometrium of the uterus, and this process is called implantation. And you can say that that lady is pregnant now. Understood? So once again, you remember from where it is started. After fertilization, where fertilization takes place? In the ampullary isthmic region. Okay, so from there the zygote moves down. As it moves down, it undergoes certain mitotic division, and that mitotic divisions are called what? Cleavage. Okay, and one zygote is a single cell that will get divided into 2, 4, 8, 16 like this, and 8 to 16 cells. Okay, that cells are known as blastocyst. Okay, sorry, blastomeres. And if the number of blastomeres is 8 to 16, then it is known as what? Morula. And then they again continuously divides and forms the blastocyst. So the speciality of blastocyst is it will have a cavity, okay, between what? The trophoblast. What is trophoblast? The outer layer, one layer, okay, of cells, and in the downside you can see a group of cells known as inner cell mass, and in between them there is a cavity that is known as blastocele. Okay, actually you will have to see this slide through the microscope. Okay, blastula stage is there, so when you see the slide you will understand. The outermost layer is known as the trophoblast, and the inner cell mass is there in what? Blastocyst. And what is the function of trophoblast? It get attached itself, okay, to the uterus wall. Which wall? Endometrium. And the inner cell mass will develop into the fetus. Is it clear? And after this trophoblast get attached to the endometrium, what happens? The uterine walls also will divide and just cover the what? Blastocyst. Okay, so that the blastocyst will get embedded in the endometrium, and this is that process of embedding of the blastocyst into the uterine wall is called what? Implantation, and that will lead to the pregnancy. Is it clear? And after implantation, okay, what happens? Finger-like projections that appears on the trophoblast, and these are known as the chorionic villi. Okay, finger-like projections appears where? In the trophoblast. Trophoblast is where? In the embryo, isn't it? Means in the blastocyst. And this chorionic villi will be surrounded, means in between the chorionic villi. Chorionic villi are what? Finger-like projections. Like villi you have studied in where? In the small intestine. So likewise some finger-like projections are there. This will be in between this villi. Okay, uterine tissues and maternal blood will be surrounding. This chorionic villi will be surrounded by uterine tissue. Uterine means uterus tissues, and maternal means mother's blood. Understood? And this chorionic villi and the uterine tissue. Okay, uterine tissue means the tissue of the uterus, that will get interdigitated, means in between the chorionic villi, what will be there? There will be the tissues of the uterus. Understood? And this forms an digit means, okay, interdigitated, you understood now? Between the fingers, what will be finger like projections of called chorionic villi, what will be there? The uterine walls will be there. Okay, and this jointly form a structural and functional unit between the mother and the developing baby. Okay, and that is known as the placenta. Understood? So you have studied about placenta. So placenta helps in what? The supply of oxygen, nutrients, isn't it? The nutrients and the oxygen will be supplied to the embryo from the mother's. See, here it is clear that there is no mixing of blood between mother and baby. Okay, no means cut or no direct mixing is not there. The nutrients from the mother's body will get diffused into the the blood vessels of the chorionic villi. Understood? So in that way there is no direct contact between the mother's blood and the child's blood. Understood? And then the other waste materials from the baby like carbon dioxide or excretory waste materials etc. will be removed also by this placenta. Understood? And you can see that the placenta will be connected to the baby by a long cord known as umbilical cord. Okay, umbilical cord is actually connecting the placenta of the mother and the embryo. Understood? And this help in the transport of substances. So if you see any newborn baby, you can see from their navel side one long thread might be there, that will be cut and kept. Okay, likewise you can see newborn babies. Okay, so through this only what the placenta of the mother, okay, or placenta is connected to the baby through a long cord known as umbilical cord. So the functions of placenta I am telling. What is placenta, you understood now? That is chorionic villi, that is developed from the from the trophoblast, that will get surrounded by some of the tissues of the uterus and mother's blood. Understood? And this structure will become the functional and structural unit between the baby and the mother, and that is known as the placenta. And the functions of placenta are they give or they supply oxygen and nutrients to the baby from the mother. Okay, and the waste materials, excretory waste materials or carbon dioxide, all these are poisonous substances. It will be removed from the baby through this placenta to the mother. Okay, then I told umbilical cord is a long cord through which the placenta is connected to the baby. Understood? See here you can see the umbilical cord. Okay, umbilical cord. See here. Okay, and then any other function is there for placenta? Yes, placenta produces or it is acting as an endocrine tissue. Do you remember endocrine tissues which are not having any ducts but they produce certain hormones? So some hormones like human chorionic gonadotrophin. What is it? HCG. So this you have to learn. Okay, this was asked once. What are the hormones produced by placenta? What are they? Human chorionic gonadotrophin, HCG. Okay, then HPL, human placental lactogen, estrogen, progesterone, etc. So estrogen in a non-pregnant woman, where it is produced in the follicular cell of the ovary. Do you remember? Follicles, primary, okay, secondary, tertiary, Graafian follicles. So this Graafian follicles will have cells. These cells are known as what? follicular cells, they are producing estrogen. Okay, but in a pregnant woman, you can see placenta will also be produced, because to maintain the pregnancy, all these hormones are very much needed, isn't it? And progesterone, otherwise who is producing? Do you remember? Corpus luteum, isn't it? Which is a tissue formed in the empty follicles after the ovulation in a non-pregnant woman. Okay, so here in placenta, okay, these hormones are also produced. Then in the later phase of the pregnancy, another hormone called what? Relaxin is also produced. Okay, relaxin is also produced. So these hormones like HCG, HPL and relaxin, they can be found only in woman during pregnancy. Means only in a pregnant woman you can see the presence of this hormones, and this will be used for the pregnancy test. Okay, so when urine test is done, the mainly these hormones are tested. Okay, and then in addition to that, other hormones like estrogens, progesterones, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, etc. will be very much high in the pregnant woman. Understood? So because for the normal growth of the baby, these all hormones are very important. Understood? Immediately after the implantation, then what happened? The inner cell mass that has to become the embryo. Okay, they again they will get differentiated into three layers called ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Okay, so do you remember these tissues? If these three layers are there, we call them as what? Triploblastic animals. The animals which are having all the three layers, okay, are called what? Triploblastic. I told you in the last year, isn't it, when we studied about the animal kingdom chapter. So this three layers, if it is there, that indicates that this is one advanced kind of organisms. Okay, so this stage is known as gastrula. Okay, so morula you understood, then blastula and then gastrula. Understood? See, these are the different stages in the embryonic development. Is it clear? So ectoderm, endoderm, that is the inner cell mass, that will be just a spherical structure that will get arranged into three layers of cells. The outer layer is called ectoderm and the inner layer is known as endoderm. Then in between this ectoderm and endoderm, another layer will form. That layer is known as what? Mesoderm. Understood? And these layers will give rise to the other organs. All the organs, for example, each of this layers are what? They are having some functions. Ectoderm will produce the so and so organs. Okay, mesoderm is having what? Direction for to make the other organs like this. Each layer, that is already what? It is there. It is fixed. From ectoderm, the which all organ should form, or from endoderm which all organ should form, it is already fixed. Okay, so like this all the organs, okay, for the skin will be formed from the ectoderm. Understood? So all this are already fixed, and these layers will give rise to the tissues and organs in the adults. Okay, and there are certain cells called stem cells in this inner cell mass, that is having the potency to give rise to any tissues and organs, and this is very much what important nowadays. Okay, because stem cells can be preserved. Okay, for example, if anyone needs to get transplanted their kidney or something like that, they have to receive the kidney from other person, isn't it? So there will be lot of problems, like what? The body will reject it. So likewise so many problems will be there. So if stem cells are kept for future, understood, that can be used for developing a kidney from that particular stem cells itself. Understood? So nowadays this is becoming very important, that or becoming a practice of storing the stem cells, okay, of the baby. Understood? So this is a new trend nowadays. So by the first month of pregnancy, the embryo will develop the heart, and the heart beating, okay, can be heard through a stethoscope. And by the second month of pregnancy, the fetus will develop what limbs and digits, okay, fingers, toes, all that they'll develop. And by the end of the first trimester, that is 12 weeks, okay, organs will be formed, organ systems will be formed, okay. Then the first movement of the fetus appears, then appearance of hair, okay, or on the head. These all events are seen during the 5th month, and by the end of the 24th week, that is around the second trimester, that is 6 months, okay, the body will be covered with hair, okay, eyelids get separated, then eyelashes will form, and by the end of 9th month, the fetus will get fully developed and it will be ready for delivery, okay. And then next topic is parturition and lactation, okay. So the time period that is needed to develop completely or fully developed baby is around 9 months in human being, and this period is known as gestation period, okay. So after this, the vigorous contraction of the uterus will lead to the expulsion or removal of the fetus, and that process, the delivery of the fetus, is called parturition. And that is a complex mechanism, that is including the nervous system and the endocrine system. As the baby get developed fully, what will happen, that will be received, that that will exert a pressure on the walls of the uterus, understood, and that results in the mild uterine contractions. Uterus slowly it will contract, okay. And so that the signal for the parturition, that is originate from fully developed fetus, is known as what, fetal ejection reflex, okay. And then what happened, the placenta induce mild uterine contraction. That uterine contraction is in response to what, to the fully developed fetus. Due to that what growth of the fetus, it exerts a pressure on the walls of the uterus. So what will happen, uterus will mildly contract, and this is called what, fetal ejection reflex. And this will be what, sensed by the nervous system, and it will be giving message to the pituitary gland and of the mother, okay. So pituitary gland of the mother will produce what, oxytocin. Do you remember, we have studied that oxytocin helps in the process of delivery, okay. And this causes the uterine walls to contract very strongly, understood, and that this in turn stimulate further secretion of oxytocin, understood. And then what happened, this results in the continuous secretion of oxytocin, and that results in what, stronger and stronger contraction. And due to contraction, what will happen, that will be sensed by the pituitary gland, and pituitary gland will produce oxytocin. When oxytocin is produced, more vigorous contraction takes place, and this will results in the expulsion of the baby, and that process is called what, parturition, okay. And after the parturition, okay, the mammary glands will produce the milk, okay. And this process, the process of producing milk by the mammary gland of the mother, is called lactation, okay. And this will help the mother to feed the baby. And the important thing to be noted here is the human milk, okay, milk contain a substance called colostrum. What is it, colostrum? And that contains actually antibodies, means already prepared antibodies in the mother, understood. And this is known as colostrum, okay. This the first milk which is very rich in the antibodies of, means which is produced inside the in the mother, okay. The first milk which is produced by the mother contains what, antibodies, and that is very essential to develop resistance for the newborn babies, is called what, colostrum. And that is what breastfeeding is advised for the newborn infants. Okay, especially the colostrum should be what given to the baby, so that babies will get okay the already prepared antibodies from the mother to them, so they will be more what resistant to various diseases. Clear? So this is what the reproduction chapter. I hope you understood it well.